Welcome to the introduction to Reiki. What I'd like to do is take you through a little intro, even if you already have Reiki yourself. This is just a little reminder and maybe looking at things a little differently. If you've been on my other 7-day journeys, then you will be familiar with this, but sometimes it's always nice to take a little revisit and just reincorporate some of our true values around Reiki itself. So Reiki is Japanese for universal life force, and it's energy at its purest. Just think of Reiki as the underlying everythingness or the essence or consciousness of everything. So it makes up you, it makes up me, it also makes up the energy we need to fuel and everything in between. The relative viewpoint of Reiki is the one that you will be most familiar with, or the one that is most commonly spoken of in our communities. So this is when we feel that Reiki as universal life force is a separate kind of energy to us, which is why we place our hands on different areas of our body, and it's why we have an attunement so we can access this energy. So it's kind of like a fuel pump. When we place our hands on our body, it's almost like you imagine the Reiki coming in from the hands, the outside, the air coming in through you, or maybe some people experience it as coming down through the crown and then in through the hands. But essentially, it's like my body and Reiki are separate, and I use Reiki as a kind of fuel to help me feel fuller, more vital, and to kind of fill me up with life force. So in particular, we're then using Reiki for balancing, we're using it for physical, emotional, mental well-being. So during the meditations, you might notice actual sensations, heat, tingling, like physical vibrations. Sometimes you really come into contact with your aches and your pains. And then in terms of the results you get through this action of filling up with universal life force, increasing your vitality, managing your balance, is that hopefully you notice you have a better, more soothing sleep. For many people, they notice a lessening of their aches and pains. And then for some people, a better immune system and more emotional stability, you're calmer. And it's just kind of like all those things that you would imagine you would feel like if you were full of energy. If you woke up from a really good, well-rested sleep and you're really taking care of your body, then we have this natural ability for the body to function at a very high level of well-being. And this is the relative view of Reiki, where it comes in and it helps you to fill and expand. And that's one of the results that we hope to gain from these next 7 days. Now, the second viewpoint that is possibly less spoken of, however, you will intuitively feel into this. And if you've been doing Reiki for a while, this will resonate with you. So the absolute viewpoint is taking universal life force to its logical conclusion, which means that universal life force is entirely everything. It's you, it's me, and it's this energy that we call Reiki. So from that viewpoint, Reiki and I are one and the same thing. Now, that means there's no boundaries, and actually Reiki is me. So the way that projects itself is during the meditations. You will feel a merging. And you probably, if you've been doing Reiki a while, you probably know exactly what I mean in terms of there's no boundaries. So you can't always feel your hands on your body. You can't always feel your body in terms of the defined boundaries of the environment. There's a feeling of timelessness, a feeling of eternity, of stillness and peace. So this, for me, is the true benefit of our Reiki practice. And I'm really hoping that, of course, it's great to feel the sensations and get the physical well-being and mental, emotional stability that comes from the relative viewpoint of literally filling ourselves up with universal life force. But the key to inner truth and really like a sustained well-being, a sense of really being home, being connected, comes from the abidance in the absolute viewpoint of Reiki. And that is Reiki and I, universal life force and I, are one and the same thing. So I hope you get a sense of this over the next week. And obviously, if you continue these journeys, if you keep repeating them, then you will deepen and deepen and deepen into your true nature and what it really means to be fully connected. So I hope this engenders some anticipation and some curiosity around some of the meditations and the following week that we spend together.